happen nationally that he wouldn't believe.
Absolutely.
Now it'd be a million things, but you just keep it to 5. And then at 5:30, we're going to take it locally. Mm-hmm. You just came out of the deep coma, which congratulations.
And I think there's a lot of places you could take this. I think you can take it to actual events or situational sporting deals, or you can just talk straight up facts. And I think that's the route that I went. I think I went a lot of factual things that if he went into that coma and before he went into that coma, he'd bet $100,000 that, hey, this was going to happen or this outcome would take place. And that's what I want to explain to you.
We both agreed, and neither one are on either list, and we didn't give away our total list.
I picked up what you were putting down. Didn't give it to you.
But I think the biggest thing that's not on any list is just how shocking the cost of everything to go to sports now compared to 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. That's not yesterday, but that's not 40 years ago either. I mean, the meteoric rise in everything at sports from 2010 to 2025, I think is probably the general theme that would be hard to explain. I have said I think it is pure sinful that places charge for water.
Absolutely.
And the biggest economic thing, everywhere now has tapped into this. Okay, so maybe used to tickets were expensive. Maybe the big box of nachos or the pizza or whatever you going by. And you can regulate all that too. I mean, nobody's making you go have 15 beers at anything or 3 slices of pizza. But you got to eat something. And something used to not be as expensive as it is now. But the biggest thing, parking now at sports. It's outrageous.
Once was free. As long as you came to the event, some places would allow free parking.
It sure was.
And then, you went to the run of the mill, $5. But now some places, I mean, depending on what city you're in.
And everywhere around it that charges on game day, okay, it's 10, maybe 15, 20. Now, I mean, it's supply and demand. You don't have to pay it. You can keep going.
It's a business upon itself, the parking aspect.
But we'll do Out of the Coma nationally at 4:30. We'll do it locally at 5:30, 4:45, big number of the day. At 5 o'clock, very special guest from Big 12 Media Days, our friend Matt Michelle from the Orlando Sentinel. He covers college football at the Orlando Sentinel, also is the beat guy for UCF, and he is in Dallas at the Star in Frisco, Texas, covering Big 12 Media Day. And we'll wrap up everything at 5:45 with Moe's and Humdinger's Crunch Time. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis. They're at 2600 Ridgeway. They're online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. But they want you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. Great offers on all 2025 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Darren, you first.
All right. My top story of the day is Penny Hardaway and his ability to continue to make strides with this non-conference schedule. We all know the conference that we're in and the battle nationally from an optic standpoint that Penny has to overcome. To get Baylor into the fold, not next year, not 2 years down the line, but right now, as we just confirmed and remembered, is huge for this team. You have Ole Miss, you have Vanderbilt, you have Louisville, you have Baylor. More to come, hopefully. Mississippi State on this. On this
you write tuition checks to them. Don't leave them out.
Are you sure? You know what? You reminded me of that. But you know which way we'll be pulling for him. I am 100% proud, and I stand behind the schedule that he's putting together because not only do I think it's a tough schedule, I think it's a schedule that with the team. San Francisco
was a great win out there.
On the road. Yes, it was. And them coming back here.
UNLV.
Josh Pastner, welcome back, but we got to kick your butt and send you back home. I think Penny is putting together I hope a top 10 non-con schedule in the country, but more than that, we hope that he wins.
Now, you know what's going to happen that day or two that Scott Drew's in town.
Yes.
Somebody should and will ask him about your name was involved in 09. You know he's going to swat it away.
Of course.
And say, not interested, I'm here.
As he should. He's a champion for Baylor now, as he should.
But hit the Google machine and go back and read the stories from the day.
Oh, yeah.
He was very interested. It was close to being done. And really, he was.
It was in pencil, not in ink pen.
And he was treated shabbily and pulled his name out because didn't want to kick off all that. My top story, I'm going to go to a different way. I'm going to go to the Big 12. It kicks off with their football media days at the Star in Frisco, Texas. Yeah, media days already. Next week I'll be in Atlanta, but they are gathering in Frisco right now. And Frisco is Texas boomtown. The PGA Championship will be at PGA Frisco in 2027, and then on a pretty consistent basis as far as the eye can see. I mean, there are literal dates already set in the 2040s for the PGA Championship to be at PGA Frisco. What will parking cost at that in 2045?
$200.
$1,000 to park.
$300 a pop.
but still no Memphis in the Big 12. 16 teams. 2 in Arizona, 4 in Texas, 2 in Kansas, 2 in Utah, 1 in Iowa, 1 in Ohio, 1 in Colorado, and 1 in Oklahoma, 1 in Florida, and 1 in West Virginia. 10 states, 4 time zones, but still no Memphis.
Not top story of the day.
Not top story of the day. I'm headed to the MLB. As we know, the reserves for the All-Star game was released yesterday, and we'll get into it. 2 local guys, one from Germantown, one from Arlington, one a first-timer, and one there for the second time. We're all proud of them. But, Landon, if I give you $765 million over 15 years, buddy, and you can't get there, as your boss, we're having a conversation.
That's a shot at Landon, isn't it?
One, and that's your team. I was looking direct. Juan Soto not being an all-star. Somebody got to tell me something.
Juan Soto not being an all-star is a complete and utter sham, and he got cheated out of it. His numbers in June alone proves that he's hitting his hot streak right now. So the fact that he missed is still mind-boggling to me.
That cold star got to account for something, though, right?
It sure does. But Brett and I were talking about this the entire lead-up of the season. When the weather's starting to get warm, Juan Soto's getting warm. In June, he killed it. Mets sucked, but June was Juan Soto's month.
I surely hope so.
There are a lot of new names on these all-star rosters.
Absolutely.
Sure is.
19 first timers.
It's some different names. That is my not top story. All-star full rosters named, every team with a representative. Clayton Kershaw with the Meritorious Service Award that he gets. They just made a spot for him. It really has turned into coach pitch travel baseball, and it just to make a slot for the all-star team. 19 first-timers. I know Albert Pujols got the designation 3 years ago for a meritorious service spot, and I said it then that it was goofy. You earn it. Why no Juan Soto? Why no Mookie Betts? Dodgers with the most reps with 5. Seattle and Detroit second with 4 each. The Tigers, I think they enter today's play. The Detroit Tigers with a 13-game lead in the all-important loss column. They run off and hid in the American League Central. They're that good. Yeah, 13.
And Schoolball should be starting as well.
They're 57-34, second place, 13 back in the all-important loss column with 47 losses. Minnesota 43-47. Detroit is postseason bound again.
They are, as they should be. I mean, they're scary. And what they're doing is that they are getting reps at being good. You know, for such a while, they were down and, you know, they were just a run-of-the-mill team. Right now, with Tarek Schoolball being at the top of his game, they're scary.
I said it last week to Bryant. We learned how to pronounce his name, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
You get good. You get good enough. I mean, and I think I butchered it badly for 6 months last year.
To
Bryant got me straight on.
Bryant was the one that got everybody straight on.
He did. Bryant was on to him.
Bryant was
really
on
early.
to him. Yes, he was.
He sure was. And it usually is with baseball.
And he usually is. It's spot on. Normally spot on.
He sure is. The Tigers, we'll talk more baseball, but 57-34, 6:26 baseball, approaching the All-Star break. Another thing we have to get right uniformly across sport. It is not the halfway point. Yeah. It is well past halfway point. It is simply at the All-Star break.
Not the halfway point.
A week from now. It is. It's not even halfway point now.
Yeah.
It sure won't be with another 6 or 7 games played by everyone.
Yeah, I think the run-of-the-mill sports fan calls every All-Star break the halfway point. Correct.
And it's not.
You're right.
It is not. He's Darian. I'm Brett. We're Sports Time. Produced by Landon Schmidt. We want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling at 901-360-8255. That's at the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will appear at the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. We're off and running on this Monday. When we come back, we'll talk Grizzlies, NBA, and Summer League.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56
Change the
WHBQ.
order up.
Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sunrise on Jefferson and Sunrise East on Poplar were recently voted the best breakfast restaurants in Memphis by a guy on the internet. This was a rave review. He rhapsodized about the signature square biscuits, the huge selection of delicious foods, the friendliness of the staff, and how fast and fresh his breakfast was at both Sunrise locations. It was the kind of unsolicited post that businesses love to see. Okay, it was written by me. I posted it. That doesn't make it any less true. You can't do better than Sunrise.
To NSD, it's never just another case. It's your shot at getting life back on track. Real help, real heart. 35 years and still winning. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or go online at nstlaw.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Do you know what Penny Hardaway and I have in common? We should both be in that building celebrating the best basketball players of all time. Of course, I'll have to buy a ticket to get in, but he should already be there. But seriously, we both surround ourselves with the best people we can find. We work hard to achieve our goals, and we are both among the best in our respective fields. At Fiveash, we can't win titles or get national awards, but what we can and do strive to do is give 100% of ourselves to give you the best product possible and one you can be proud of. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call at 901-367-0050, and we will do everything we can to provide you the best of everything. Fiveash Roofing. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Listen up, sports fans. Your next winning drive is at Landers Ford in Collierville. That's right. The iconic Landers Easy Pass always delivers more for your trade and their biggest discounts on your next winning drive. See it all now at LandersFordMemphis.com. Plus, when you own a Landers Ford, you get the support of a certified service tech who comes right to your driveway with the Landers Ford Remote Service Experience Program. They'll pick it up, drop it off, or fix it on the spot. At Landers Ford in Collierville, they have a game plan to find you the most savings possible. You can make a trade and possibly lower your payments. They'll even buy your current vehicle even if you don't buy from them. It's a tradition fans all across the Mid-South love. New Fords and quality pre-owned models are arriving every day. Beat the rush. Go see them today in Collierville or online at LandersFordMemphis.com. And now from the 1977 Ole Miss football team that beat #1 ranked Notre Dame, ladies and gentlemen, the final play of the day comes from President of Landers Ford in Collierville, Don Kitchens.
If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
Negative equity will be applied to new car loan.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by area just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 11 to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations. Fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer, like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes, like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad. Or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. I'd sure love to see you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stacks Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Thank you, Landon Schmidt, our producer, and Darian Newsom co-hosting with me today. We are Sports Time. I'm Brett. We're with you until 6 o'clock. And as always, from our Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Help Family Leisure clear out the warehouse. That's what they want to do right now. All in-stock patio furniture up to 60% off. 4-piece deep seating set only $9.99. Chase lounges, buy one, get half off on another. All Hollywood furniture 20 to 30% off. Free umbrella with dining table purchase. Special financing available, all at Family Leisure at 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Summer League began this weekend, Darren. I'm going to depend on you for a lot of it.
Absolutely.
I know the broad, I don't know the narrow, but no surprise, Jalen Wells really good. We saw what he could do last year. I don't need to see him in Summer League.
No, you don't. But so if you're keeping count, Grizzlies 1, OKC 0 right now. I know it's not the league that you wanted in, but you got to take it. It's better than
I would rather had it in April.
I'd rather had it in April as well. But what you saw was the veteran leadership of young guys. I think Wells as well as Gigi Jackson will take this opportunity to take it personal, especially Gigi Jackson. For lack of better words, a forgotten man. It's a new team. It's almost like when a new boss comes into a building and you've had all these high expectations. The people in the building know what you can do, but he doesn't. So I think he's on a path where he's having to show that, hey, you guys gave me a 4-year contract, pretty low. You know, I don't think. And maybe he is trade bait, with that contract. But I think he has a lot to prove. He as well as Wells.
And last year, I don't know what the Oklahoma City series would have been like with a healthy Wells, but I know it was not that far removed from being 2-2 without him.
Absolutely. His defense, his season, I think in some other seasons he would have been Rookie of the Year.
He did a lot of winning things.
He did a lot of winning things. He played above his contract, well above his contract. And if they're not careful, I think they're going to end up having to pay him sooner rather than later because of what he's going to project out.
That's a good problem.
That's a very good problem. Very good problem. We're not against the apron right now. Right now we're under the tax, but he is my focal point. We know what we without speaking John Jared. Let me preface it with that. But as far as the young core. As far as us moving forward, of course you have Coward, but Jalen Wells is your diamond in the rough. If you didn't see it, shame on you.
And I'm just hoping that get that fortunate with another Washington State guy like Wells with Coward.
Now, I was questioning, did they play together? That's the research I meant to do. I don't think they played together. Same team, but same school, but not the same year as far as playing on the same team. But I'm hoping that we can
Ever been to Pullman, Washington?
No, I have not.
I have not.
No, I have not.
I've never been to the state of
The only
Washington.
thing I know about it is from a football standpoint with
Jason
Gesser and Ryan Leaf. That's about it.
Oh, in my reach.
But we have some sound, and I think it's really telling in my estimation. We asked Terry Davis of the new Tri-State Defender earlier, and he kind of said there was a lot of pandering towards the coaching staff. But I think this G.G. Jackson comments, if you listen to it, there's a lot to break down.
So it was good.
Right, and I'm sure the game has slowed down for you a little bit at this point in your career. How are you able to see the court differently, and how does that help you during Summer League?
Well, with our new acquired coaching staff, it's a lot more explaining, which I'm all ears for. I'm kind of like a sponge, but like I just said, with my teammates holding us up, and we got a lot of different weapons on the team, so it takes a lot of pressure off of me.
Another one of them is Jalen Wells, also had 20 points with you. What was it like playing with Jalen tonight?
I told him like 2 months ago that he doesn't even know how he inspires me, how he's laid back, chill, just got that grown man aura, carries himself the right way, and I've just been trying to feed off his energy.
GG, thank you so much. Congrats.
Brett, I will lean on you. 2 things that stood out to me was this new coaching staff where there's a lot more explaining, and then he made the comments about Jalen Wells where his grown man approach. I hope that in the knock, or I hope he's not missing that from the other grown men on the team.
I don't think he is. I think he can associate it with somebody closer to his age in any walk of life, whatever business you're in. That kind of venerable older figure that's there, you're going to associate more with the guys in and around or gals in and around your age. Mm-hmm. I think it's a good thing that he's already seeing it. And it's the kind of the Charles Barkley line. He said, I didn't want to be a role model. And the castigation, the criticism against him is everybody's role model. You're either a good one or a bad one.
Yes.
And Jalen Wells has been a good one, and he's feeding off that. I think it's a good thing.
I hope it's a good thing. I hope it wasn't said in just as far as a lack of what he's missing instead of what you're saying, that is closer in age, is closer in generation.
Those two have made it too.
Absolutely.
Jalen Wells has still got to get his, and G.G. Jackson, especially coming off this year. Think of the difference where we are July 7 this year compared to last year with Vince and with G.G.
Yes, and they were playing not mop up basketball, but they weren't playing with the starters. They weren't playing.
It was the only redeeming thing.
The only redeeming thing, and they had to perform. If they didn't perform, where would we be? Would they even be on the team if they didn't perform the way they were? And the last piece to that was the coaching aspect. From what I understand, Thomas Isolo is coaching the team. Not sure when we've had the last Grizzlies actual head coach to head coach in Summer League. But when GG says that with this new coaching staff, there's more explaining. What I ask you is, did Taylor check out, or is this actually a different regime that he's, all ears to, as he says?
I don't think he checked out, but he did get fired, and now they understand that this is the guy. You always will kind of gravitate to the new guy. It's no need. I don't think it was a slight, and I don't think it was an insult at Taylor Jenkins. But even if it was, too bad. You're kind of old news now to that locker room, to this town, to us. I think it's a little unfortunate. He is the all-time winningest coach, but now you got to play to the one that's with you, and that's Isolo. Taylor Jenkins it moves on. Life moves on. It's old news.
Well, I'm at least glad he's listening. But 92-80 OKC loss. Win versus OKC. And tonight we have Ace Bailey and the Utah Jazz.
Ace Bailey needing a good game, isn't he?
Ace Bailey needing a lot. He's coming off of I don't want to say a tumultuous lead up to a NBA draft,
And
because
then
when you
got
get
banished
drafted,
to Siberia.
absolutely. But I think he could have listened to some different adults in the way he handled things. It's almost like if you tell a company you're going to show up, especially the day of, as a professional, you owe that to them. But kudos to Utah for taking him, because a lot of teams that would scare you away. No, I'm taking that asset. I love what Danny Ainge did, because I love Danny Ainge's the way he thinks. If you take it back to Boston, if he doesn't vibe with you and you are a talent, he's going to get something for you. He's not going to put you on the bench in perpetuity and let you your value drop or anything like that. He's going to get you the heck up out of there, but he's going to get assets for you.
At our friends at betonline.ag, here are first odds for over-under win totals for next season.
Okay.
And keep in mind, last year, the teams with the biggest jump from last season's Open, Detroit.
I was going to take a step.
Plus 21. Yeah. Atlanta plus 11. Atlanta could have that big jump again this year. They've done a lot of smart things. Houston and Portland plus 10. Cleveland and San Antonio plus 8. Biggest drop last year, Phoenix minus 15. Boston minus 14. New Orleans at minus 13. They dropped from a low number.
Yeah.
Dallas minus 11, self-explanatory. Utah minus 9. Miami, Philadelphia, and Sacramento all fell 8 spots. What do you think the Grizzlies over-under on seed? Last year it was 46.5. They hit on 48. I predicted in the preseason they would win 48. What do you think it is this year?
No Zach Edey to start. No Desmond Bain. New coach. Questions about Jaren's contract. 42.
Very good. 40.5.
Okay.
You missed it, too.
I was going to guess 40.
Oh, good. 40.5. Everything falls on a half. 40.5 last year opened at 46.5, and they got over it with 48. So they're thinking real regression.
Yeah. And back to the teams who should be better next year. Houston, ballyhoo, all over it. I get it. But this time I think it's different for KD. And the reason being is that coach.
We've heard that before.
But it's that coach. Has he had a coach that was motivated to the point where this coach was thrown out of a city? Get out of here. They could have kept him. They could have. I mean, it wasn't terminal to the point where they couldn't have looked the other way.
Might be some remorse if they were honest about it.
Absolute remorse if they were being honest about it. I think there's going to be adults in that room that are going to get to KD and say, this is the last ride.
Last dance.
This is the last dance. It may not be your last, your last contract or whatever, but as far as competitive, being on a championship team that has an actual opportunity that's built around him, because even though that team's built around him, if you look at it, that team is built very much. I love it.
54.5.
Wow. I love it.
Your Lakers. You're a Grizzly fan, but your other team, the Lakers.
Yeah.
You got good gear.
I know. Today I do. Shout out to Miss Margaret. Yeah. We love her.
Lakers, 47.5.
That's high, I believe.
Minnesota, 51.5. The champs, 62.5. San Antonio, 43.5. Last year opened at 35.5.
That 62 is sticking out. 62 for OKC?
Yeah.
To do it again with the target on your back. That's the question.
That's how they become the evil empire.
That's how you become the evil empire, if you overcome it and you become what you're
Speaking
supposed
of
to.
the real evil empire, Golden State.
Yeah.
47.5.
They're going to make a move. They're going to be close to that. I have so much faith.
53.5.
You still have Jokic. Until
and
added because Jonas is going to protect his behind like no one else. I mean, when he was here, it was great.
Clippers 45.5.
They've made some moves, but they're still the Clippers.
West for keeps, isn't it?
Yeah, they're still
Utah
the
Jazz and the aforementioned Ace Bailey.
Yeah.
Over and under. Any guesses, Landon?
23.5.
23.5 is high.
23.5 is high. With Markkanen still on that team?
18.5.
I was just about to say 18. I'm
Well,
not even
18 and a half.
They're vowing for
good luck in the ticket office.
Yeah, because there's going to be a young man that's playing in their state that
That's
they
right.
want. They're
And
not
we'll
going
talk
to
about with David Cobb.
They're not going to make any bones about wanting him. They know they want him
The owner of the Jazz has already paid him to go to BYU.
already.
The owner of the Jazz really owns 3 teams.
Already.
The Utah Jazz, BYU football, and BYU basketball.
Yeah. He's an alum.
He sure is. Celtics, 43.5, down from 57.5.
As it should with your physical leader. I think
Yeah.
their vocal leader is always going to be Brown because he's outspoken. You see him on social media on so many aspects. I think he's always going to be the vocal leader. The two has to mesh at some point where one of the other, either Brown needs to become the best player or I think Tatum needs to become more of the vocal leader. But they've already proved it. You know, they've already done as such by raising the banner. So they're not going to listen to me. They're going to run it back as they should. You know, I don't think either one of those guys should be traded. You wait the injury out, you see what you got in Brown, and you move forward.
Knicks at 52.5, the same they were a year ago, and they won 51.
Don't you think they got the same coach? What's the difference in Mike Brown and Thibodeau?
And look how they got there, the circuitous route to get to Mike Brown and to move away from Thibodeau.
I think they're the same coach, right?
He better get it done, or they'll turn on him fast.
Yeah. Mike Brown, I understand
Led by
him
that
taking that
savage
job.
media.
Yeah. And I understand why he took that job. He could have waited on something. That job, you get hired to get fired when
Next
you
year
go to New
is
York.
the year for the Knicks.
Oh, yeah, contract-wise, yeah.
Better make it happen.
Yeah, of course. And they didn't hit a home run in free agency this year. No. I don't know why they haven't. Even back to the days where, Brooklyn, if you think about it, Brooklyn had KD, Kyrie, James Harden, and nobody cared because the Knicks are the Knicks. But they still can't get the bodies to actually come to Madison Square, and I don't know why.
And I sent to Bryant, we were talking about the Knicks always dream. They're going to dream next year at deadline time of maybe getting LeBron at deadline time. They always do, or maybe a deal before the season begins. And I said last week that I can remember when they thought they had Kareem, when Kareem was ready to get out of Milwaukee, and it made sense of maybe going back to New York City where he grew up and played at Power Memorial in high school. And it was either go back home to where he played high school or go to where he played college, and that's what he did with the Lakers. And I saw that old story, and I sent it to Brian. I said, the Knicks have been dreaming for 50 years. They always are. They always think they're going to land the big free agent.
Yeah, I know they had their eyes on Jason
Who they
Kidd.
think they are, the Yankees?
Yeah, I mean, who could they think they are?
Orlando's Mets?
Orlando's Mets. I mean, they can write any check they want. No one's going to feel bad for Leon Rose and the way he's running his team. I think he's running it the way the Dolans want it. I don't think he's running amok or doing anything on his own that he's not running past James Dolan. Every move or lack thereof still seems like a James Dolan move.
Well, he is the owner.
He is the owner.
And he always proves it. When we come back, we'll wrap up this hour talking baseball. You're listening to Sports Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Air. We breathe it naturally. Simple, right? Not so fast. The air you breathe could be hazardous to your health. Don't guess. Be sure with a phone call to the Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold assessor in the Mid-South. Call the Memphis Mold Inspector to check the air quality inside your home or office. Call 901-292-7788 for clean air and peace of mind. 901-292-7788 or visit memphismoldinspector.com.
If wedding bells are in your future, you need an unforgettable engagement ring from a jeweler you can trust. And that's been James Gaddis Jewelers for over 60 years. With a huge selection and the best prices, James Gaddis is a master jeweler and diamondologist. Beautiful jewelry from James Gaddis is always the right choice. Choose from rings to earrings, necklaces to bracelets, and gemstones to watches. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, online at GaddisJewelers.com and Instagram at Gaddis Jewelers. Say I do at James Gaddis Jewelers.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Corky's barbecue. Cooking it up.
Down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like the good old days.
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering is our specialty. Memphians have trusted Corky's to cater their events for 40 years because we make it easy for you and delicious for your guests. Whether it's 50 people or a crowd of thousands, our experienced team comes to your location, sets up, serves, and ensures everyone enjoys a Corky's all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet starting at only $7.99 per person. You can't beat it. With 40 years of experience, it's easy to see why customers choose Corky's time and time again for all of their catering needs. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to book us for your next party.
Uncorked flavor. Corky's barbecue.
Spring is in the air, and it's the perfect time to grill, chill, and save with Choates. Install a new generator, tankless water heater, or Carrier HVAC system, and you'll get your choice of a free green egg grill or 36 months no-interest financing. Stay powered during storms. Enjoy endless hot water and slash your cooling costs this summer with the high-efficiency Carrier system and grill some slow smoke barbecue on us. But hurry, this special ends soon. And if you're dealing with plumbing or electrical problems, Choates is here for you too. Give us a try and take $60 off your repair. Leaky faucet, clogged drain, broken outlet, lights flickering? Call Choates and save $60 on your plumbing or electrical repair service. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com today. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's 10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list. Like this leaf blower! PayPal could pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
Extraordinary events come once in a blue moon, and right now, even the most extravagant luxuries are well within reach. The one and only May sale is back at Sissy's Log Cabin, and you can save up to 50% on nearly everything in the store. This is your chance to get the service, selection, and experience that makes you feel like family at the best prices of the year, guaranteed. Don't miss the one and only May sale at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
The baseball over the weekend, we look forward to the Cardinals and the Cubs from the north side of Chicago, and it was almost entirely Cubs. And with the split they got and how they won the last two games in St. Louis, and then that 2 out of 3, everybody was trying to be patient, get through those games, see where the Cardinals stand. Now, to heck with it. Deal everybody.
Yeah.
Helsley. I say even Mason Wynn.
Oh.
Should be out there in the deal. For sure, Sonny Gray. You got to deal something, you can get something back for.
Yeah, you have to give something back. But getting outscored 28-9 over the weekend and dropping 2 of 3. The one thing I want to say on air, my buddy's a Cardinal fan, Cubby, and I told him I would say it. The Cubs are for real. They look like they are genuinely for real. They got a nice amount of all-stars.
I think they are, especially in that division.
I think they are. But we look like we were the real deal not too long ago. But to go in there and get shellacked.
I don't really remember it, but we kind of fooled ourselves. You're going to have to deal with somebody like Mason Wynn to get, because let me tell you what Lars Nootbaar is getting you back in return.
What he's getting you?
A sack of baseballs.
Yeah. Or golf balls, second baseball, golf balls. However
You're not getting much back for it.
Not getting much back, but kudos to the Cubbies. They took care of business. When you're a good team and you're at home, regardless of who it is, but especially when it's your rival, you're supposed to take care of business.
And
that's what they did.
4 up on the Brewers in the loss column, 7 up on the Cardinals. The Cardinals aren't that far out of the wild card, but do you try to the short term squeeze into the playoffs as the wild card? Or do you start the tear down, a little bit like the Grizzlies conversation, do you start the tear down to try to get good in 2 or 3 years at a time, Darian, we see attendance plunging. And what do you think attendance in September is going to be like when you're once again mathematically out of it by the 18th of September?
And just listening to you, the reason I say you go ahead and do the minor tear down to build it back up, whatever that looks like, is because you were having this exact same conversation last year about attendance. Because of where they were and how they were playing. So if this is going to be apropos, or if this is going to be status quo each and every year, at some point you have to take that swing. And like you're saying, you're going to have to give up something to get something. But at some point, the Cardinals have to turn it back into the Cardinals and literally swing for that home run and get the face of the team back in there.
Hadn't it been a while since they were the Cardinals?
Absolutely. But it starts with a face, too. Whether it was Yachty, whether it was Albert, whomever your face way back when it was Ozzie, whomever your face, who's the face of the Cards right now?
Well, they don't have a single player anybody's game planning.
That's my point. I think
you don't have a ticket seller.
You don't have the ticket seller. You have to start there, and that's something that other teams and other markets have kind of cornered the market on.
Monday night, September 15th, Cardinals against Cincinnati. Tickets available. Sections available. Green seats could be the most affordable people have ever had.
That's unthinkable. Especially with that player and who and what they could be playing for. Speaking of Cincinnati,
can't get anything for Arenado.
Can't get anything. No,
he's been offered in deals since his time last year.
Since before, and I think we all know that. So, what do we do? What do you do? At some point, you have to break it down. You can't be status quo.
It will be Heimblum's team. Mm-hmm. I think at deadline time, he will be the one making the deals. It won't be John Mozeliak. I think it'll be Heimblum. It should be because it's getting ready to be. He's got the keys. He's going to run the whole franchise. Mm-hmm. The DeWitts are ceding a lot of power to him and should. Mm-hmm. And it's time for Mozeliak to step aside. Mm-hmm. Those 2 championships were great. The last one this year at World Series time was 14 years ago.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And no momentum in sight.
None.
There's no momentum. There isn't anything to kind of hang your hat on. You look down to the AAA field. You look here in Memphis. Who are we saying that's our next guy? I don't see him. I don't.
And you're gonna have to give to get, and that's what the Cardinals are stuck with. We'll talk a little more baseball later in the show. When we come back, as we always do on Monday, we'll visit with David Cobb from CBS Sports. I'm with Darian, Landon Schmidt producing. David Cobb up next on Sportstime.
If you hate the number on your scales, you'll love 901-436-0272. 436-0272 for Millington Weight Loss and Wellness. 436-0272 for GLP-1 and NAD Plus injections and Evolve X. Evolve X melts fat, tightens skin, and works muscles. Evolve X is safer, more affordable than surgery, and it's non-invasive. Contact Wellness Manager Aaron Chesty, 901-436-0272.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. We can't wait to serve you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Also stores in Cleveland, Mississippi and Little Rock. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-913-7883 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's picked up quite a bit on 240 east from Mill Branch all the way out to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. We're still dodging some showers out here. Mix that with rush hour traffic. Leave early. Just give yourself extra time. Busy now through Midtown on 240 South here at South Parkway. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry wants you to know they are your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Go by and see David and his family at Weimer's Jewelry.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Joining Brian and Brett now on Sportstime is national college football writer for CBS Sports, Memphis native and Tennessee grad, who you can find on Twitter X at David W. Cobb. It's David Cobb.
Thank you very much. David Cobb indeed joins us now from CBS Sports, writing and always discussing with us college football and college basketball. And David, we'll start with the college basketball that you wrote about at the FIBA U19, and you say not so fast on everybody saying A.J. Dabanza will be the number 1 pick next year.
Yeah, unfortunately, they didn't send me to Switzerland to cover it in person. Kind of a bummer, but I did watch quite a bit of it on YouTube last week. They were all streaming for free. Great peek at the freshman class that's coming into college basketball, and a couple of players who were already in college basketball. And so, yeah, it was interesting. A.J. Dabanza, you can see the athleticism. You can see why he's the top-ranked prospect. He's going to BYU, and for a long time people said, hey, this guy's better than Cooper Flagg. And, I mean, maybe in the long run that could still come to fruition, but a 2 for 18 showing from three-point range, probably not what NBA front offices want to see from a guy who, you know, they're thinking about taking number 1 overall. And he's still fantastic. A.J. Dabanza is going to be a really high-level player in the Big 12 at BYU. He's going to be a top 5 pick. But there's enough quality competition in the mix, including some guys who we saw this past week in the FIBA event, to give him a run for that number 1 overall pick. This is not going to be like last year, where it was Cooper Flagg at the start and Cooper Flagg at the finish, and it was always Cooper Flagg along the way. I think that AJ DeBance is going to have some real competition for that number 1 overall pick in the 2026 draft.
All right, at this point, where does he rank with DeBance, or where does he rank with Flagg and with Wembanyama?
Well, he's actually, even though I said all that, I still think he's pretty close to Cooper Flagg. I just don't think Cooper Flagg had as much competition to go number 1 overall. I mean, Ace Bailey was kind of there for a while. Dylan Harper kind of got into the periphery of that conversation, but really it was Flagg to lose all along. And they are both, Cooper Flagg and AJ DeBance, way better than who was at the top of the 2024 draft class, when it ended up being Alex Sarr and Zachary Reese-Haché. And so I would say DeBanza is pretty close to Flagg. They're a lot of different players, but neither one of them is quite at that Wemby level. And we'll see if Wemby can stay healthy and realize his full potential. Because you don't have to tell Grizzlies fans at 7'4", as we see with Zach Edey, it's hard to keep it all working right over an 82-game season. It's a lot of mileage to put on a body of that size. But yeah, I think AJ DeBance is going to be right there. And then the Memphis-oriented takeaway that I took from watching Team USA last week was they've got Louisville on the schedule this year, and boy, that is a beast of a team at Louisville, because they did a lot of work in the transfer portal after a great first season for Pat Kelsey, and now they are adding in a very dynamic point guard in Michael Brown Jr., who is just going to take them even higher. And I think Louisville is going to be my pick to win the ACC in basketball. And hey, if you're Memphis and you can beat that team, that's one of those just diamond-level victories that'll go a long way for you on Selection Sunday. And if you lose it, who cares, right? But winning that game against Louisville, I think anybody beating Louisville is going to be really difficult this next season.
David, I was looking to choose in between two of these 3 players to ask you about it. You just gave me Michael Brown Jr., so thanks for that. So Koa Pete, the Arizona signee, he played for the U19 USA team. I would like to know your thoughts on he, as well as someone that the Tigers will see in their first game from Purdue, Omar Meyer, with you compared to Kasparis Kushianis? I think that's did I butcher it enough for you? But yeah, those 2 players. Tell us about those guys.
Yeah, good point. I haven't even really made the Memphis connection with Omar Meyer yet, but yeah, he's a freshman point guard who's going to Purdue, and he's kind of like Kasparis Yakachonis was last year, and that nobody really knows all that much about him. He gets overshadowed by all the portal signings and all the American players who received high accolades in high school. But it's just hard to really get a read on some of these international players who are coming over to play college basketball. But there's a lot of them now. And this guy, he's crafty. He can shoot the lights out, and he's a good playmaker, too. So I don't know if he's a one-and-done prospect, but he could be a long-term, really high-level college basketball player. So it was interesting to see him put Israel on his back and take them into the quarterfinals, and he really made a name for himself by doing that. And then you bring up Koa Pete at Arizona, a very difficult player to make a comparison on, because he's a bulldog of a 6'8" power forward who doesn't really shoot the 3, but he has really good skill off the dribble, and he can attack the rim like nobody's business. I mean, just super aggressive getting to the basket. A really versatile defender too, and so he's a name to keep an eye on, because we don't know where the Grizzlies are going to end up drafting next year, but they've got a really attractive pick that they got in that Desmond Bane trade in next year's draft. Mm-hmm. And so Koa Pete, who's going to Arizona, he could be somebody to keep an eye on, because if you were able to put Cedric Coward and Koa Pete on the floor together, then you're talking about upgrading the Grizzlies' defense in a very significant way. And so that's probably what stood out to me about Koa Pete watching the U19 was the defensive tenacity and just the physicality as a freshman who will be coming into college basketball.
David Cobb, our guest from CBS Sports on all things college football and college basketball. He's with us every Monday at this time. David, was a lot of great local reporting. Jason Munz at the Commercial Appeal, notably on the Baylor series and getting close. It's official now. You said about playing Louisville. Derry and I in the last hour, we said about a lot of that non-conference schedule. if you get the right number of wins, what it does for you, the gift that keeps on giving in the net world, it just keeps boosting your profile. The Tigers were able to successfully do that the last 2 years with the right kind of wins. 13 non-conference games. If you're in double digits, you do anything in the AAC, you're set on Selection Sunday.
Yes, and say what you will about Penny Hardaway, and we've talked the good and the bad and everything in between about him over the years. The thing that he always does really well is put together a solid non-conference schedule.
Fearless.
And that paid massive dividends for them last year, and it very well may again this year because he's done it again. I mean, it's one of those schedules, and there is no downside to this. These losses, if you take losses, and you will against a schedule of this caliber, they don't really hurt you that much. I mean, you're talking about quad 1 games, maybe some quad 2s in there if things don't go well for a Vandy or or if Baylor isn't as good as maybe we think they could be, or Mississippi State or something ends up being a quad 2. Okay, right. But a lot of these are going to be quad 1, and even the higher end of quad 2s, if you lose them, they don't really hurt you that much. And so it's one of those things where it's going to be a reverse sort of schedule for Memphis again. Most teams play their easy games in November and December, and then play their tough games in January, February, and early March. Memphis is going to be doing the opposite again. They're going to be playing their best opposition in November and December, and then they're going to have to figure out a way to soldier through and survive against the lower-end teams on their schedule in AAC play. It's the same thing as last year, but it's so important that he got those good games, quality opposition on the schedule, because it gives Memphis a chance to build an at-large resume. And, man, I've got a lot of questions about that roster. I mean, with the Dane Danger waiver being denied, it's going to be tough. I think he's got a tougher task ahead of him this year than he did last year, because you just knew how it was going to go last year with P.J. Haggerty coming into the fold, and like Doug McDaniel, who they brought in. He is a really good player, a quality lead guard, but I don't know that he's that AAC player of the year, like potential All-American type that P.J. Haggerty was. And then they don't have a Danger. I mean, Aaron Bradshaw's a good player, but I don't think he's quite at Dane Danger's level. So, I mean, he's got a big task for him ahead of him on the court. But the schedule they put together may expose them a little bit. But we probably thought the same thing this time last year, and they came through it pretty well on the other side. So they've certainly got a chance with this slate that they put together.
One difference in the schedule this year will be the February trip to Logan, Utah to play Utah State to deviate from the AAC play, and I think that's good. That's going to be an important game.
Yeah, played at altitude against what for one more year will be a Mountain West team. Well, I think Utah State's staying in the Mountain West. Sometimes I get a little confused with who's going to the Mountain West and who's going to the Pac-12 and all that. But no, that's a quality program that is fairly regularly in the hunt for an NCAA tournament bid. You're going to their place. You're probably one of the more interesting non-conference games that they have at home. So you can expect a pretty good atmosphere for that one. But
won't kill you, and it doesn't move you a seed line if you win, but it helps resume building.
Yeah, and it gets you some exposure to some teams that are going to play a little bit differently. Because if you get to the dance and you run into a Colorado State again, like you did this past season, it's interesting because these Mountain West teams, they're kind of like AAC talent level, but they're well coached. They've got a little more skill. They know what they do schematically. Like they're a well-oiled mid-major machine. And Jared Calhoun had a great first year there last year. So good to get a different type of look, because if you just get the AAC riffraff and the high-end stuff, you kind of miss something there in the middle, testing yourself against a team like a Utah State. So good to get a little exposure to a team of that caliber.
That's going to be the debatable number around here in Sports Talk Radio and all around town is going to be when you fall into that AAC. We know it's going to be 13-9, 18 AAC. Is it 15-3? Do you have to go 16-2? That's a high bar, to travel. And maybe everybody's kind of maybe got the wintertime crud. And you don't have your shot that night. You lose one you shouldn't. That's kind of life on the road in any league. I mean, to expect somebody to go 16-2, 15-3, that's tough.
Yeah, it is. And there are a couple of decent teams in the AAC. I mean, by and large, it's going to be the same old, but I do think that Tulane has a chance to be pretty good. They actually have a decent amount of roster retention compared to the rest of the league. Some double-figure scores back, some guys who can play. And then I'm really interested in South Florida. It's going back to the FIBA thing real quick. That South Florida team had 3 players playing for Team Canada. And Team Canada pushed the United States to the wire, to the final minute of the fourth quarter. It was the only team that played USA closely in the FIBA U19 World Cup. And they did it. They did it with 3 guys who are going to be playing at South Florida, kind of leading the way. So that South Florida team is also adding some veterans. They are also coached now by Brian Hodgson, who was at Arkansas State and came